body bags were horror lies.
Hello and welcome to Body Bags. My name is James and I'm your Sunday night reviewer, and this evening I decided to bring you the, finishing up our end of the theme week, our Shot Glass, which is the movie that has no sequel, prequel, remake, series, any kind of links to anything else. It's its own unique movie. And I decided to bring you the actually new movie by Alex Garland, Men. So this one, we follow our character of Harper, and she has befallen tragedy in her life. Her partner has died, and she's gone to an area in the UK called the Cotswolds, not far from where I used to live when I was in the UK. And so she's gone kind of basically like a retreat to have time on her own and reflect. It's like this kind of beautiful old house. She actually meets the owner, who shows her around the area. His kind of very country, old-fashioned kind of guy. Very old-fashioned English country kind of guy. Very awkward around her. It's like you can see he's very old school. Not like he's masculine in a way of old-fashionedness. Not that he's like alpha male, but like how he is, like carrying her bags and stuff like that, and like how he's talking to her, asking questions and things like that. But you kind of don't think anything of it. But throughout this takes place, I think it's a fairly short period of time. It's like, it's 1 or 2 days or something. I can't even think now, like what it is actually. But it's a very, very short period of time. But we start to get flashbacks of what happened, the situation with her husband, and it's like you're fed bits of information more and more each time, as you do in movies, and it kind of opens the door. It creaks open, and you're seeing more and more insight, and it's changing every time you see it. But what's strange is that it's kind of like how the situation is changing on where she is as well in like the real world. It's almost kind of like it's like parallel to what's happening. The more you see in the flashbacks, it's like the more that she's opening up to, the more that it's almost something like the place is reacting to her. But you notice that we notice, I'm sure she never lets on that she notices, but everyone kind of looks the same. It's like it's all played by what's his name, something Kinnear, the actor. All these parts are played by the same guy. That's not something that's tried to be hidden by Garland. There's so much symbolism within this movie. There's the depth with. This is A24 and it's Alex Garland, and there's layers upon layers. There's like the symbolism of toxic masculinity and trauma and just the grief and healing processes and all these things. Each character that you see, the symbolism of what that character is. I've only seen this the once, and I need to watch it again because I'm sure loads was flying over my head. But it's like really interesting, the characters that you meet. It's like we met the homeowner. You meet this like strange kind of like school kid that's kind of like wearing this mask, and he's actually oddly hostile. And you see this vicar, and yeah, it's kind of strange. She's in the church at this one point, and actually, if we go back a little bit more, there's the cinematography for this thing is fantastic, and the sound design is awesome. There's this part where she's in this tunnel and she's like basically shouting out like these harmonies. It's got this echo in this tunnel, and then at one point you see someone stand up in the tunnel. It's really freaky, and they start to like kind of come towards her, start running towards her, sort of thing. And she obviously freaks out and she kind of gets a bit lost and stuff like that. And so then she's retreating back to home. She's kind of like found their way back on where to go. And she sees this old house and she turns to take a photo of it. And there's someone there. It's like, I don't know if it's the same person, but it's like this naked person, like all kind of really covered in mud, just naked, and freaks her out a bit. And yeah, she kind of like, she calls the police because the person comes to the house, is outside the house, and the police get there and they take her away. This is where we actually see another woman character. It's very, they lay on with the countryness and the accent and stuff like that. And there's obviously the policeman, obviously is that Kinnear character again, or one of the many characters. Going back to the church, she's walking around again later. She sees this old church, and it's kind of these flashbacks are hitting more and more, and the grief is kind of hitting her hard. And we're seeing that the relationship was abusive, and it's actually a suicide, but maybe an accidental suicide, as we're learning more and more what's going on. Like, you just assume that he jumped and she saw it, but then it's like you're finding more and more out that he hit her, and then she threw him out and he climbed up to the apartment above, broke in, went to climb down to get into this one. So you're finding more of it. So there's extra layers of guilt. And this vicar, he's calming, talking, soothing, getting her to open up, and then he just twists, and she's telling him to fuck off because of what he's saying. And it's like these male characters. Like, there's another bit where she goes to the pub again. It's that Kinnear character, and they're becoming darker and more hostile towards like women. It's like fucked up misogyny. It's like it's really like it's a strange one. It's kind of like, yeah, it's like, it's, look at the name of the movie, it's Men. It's like this. I actually wrote a few bits about this. I'm just going to read it quickly. Like, when I actually watched it in I logged it in Letterboxd, and my kind of the small notes I made on it was the preternatural, haunting, somewhat awesome oddity of a film. The performances are fantastic. Garland always gets his casting spot on. As to what happens when a film unravels, I'm pretty sure I haven't seen something like this before. Unwoke misogyny with masculinity at its most grotesque. Because it's that, yeah, that's, I remember writing that now. It's the grotesqueness of masculinity. It's like overbearing. It's like it's almost like a hate of women, and it's kind of like you're trying to balance whether this is just within her mind from the grief, and she's like it's kind of, she's projecting it into like the outside world sort of thing, or if this is in her head, or if it is actually happening. It's like this weird thing. And just how the end of the film goes, it's like there's things that happen with the characters. At one point they basically attack her. I'm not going to give everything away, but yet they attack her, and it's kind of like, it's like one at a time sort of thing. It's an interesting way. It's not like there's one character, you only see one at a time. It's not that sort of thing. It's like these are individual characters. It's not like they're all the same person, but they are. It's like that they are like I said, a projection of fucked up masculinity. It's like because one gets an injury, a pretty bad physical injury that you can see, and it afflicts all of them, even though they are individual, they are connected. And let's just say the birth of a character, I'm not going to go into it, but a multiple birth of different characters. And you see when a character basically comes back, that the same issues are there, that the same physical deformities from the same injuries are there, until it rebirths back to the point of the pain. It's like, this is where I can't figure it out. There's bits and pieces where it's like, it could very well, people see things in the movie and it's like, well, that's a physical thing that you can see, that things have happened, but it doesn't mean that the consequence of these things happening is not in Harper's head. This is a really difficult movie to talk about because I don't understand all of it. I obviously understand what that happened in the movie, but there's, like I said, there's so much symbolism, there's so much depth into this movie. It's so interesting. It's really did enjoy this movie. I thought it's probably going to be in my top 10 of the year, well, I'd say, definitely. And yeah, but because like you get to point zero of the grief, and you don't expect it to how it is, and it's just so well done. It's just so well done. And the performances in this are brilliant. The writing in this is brilliant. It's kind of like, you think it could be goofy, but it's far from goofy. Even some of the characters have this goofiness. It's kind of, it lulls you into a sense of, because of how the accents of these characters, it lulls you into this kind of sense of comfort, that there's no urgency or dread, because this is a horror movie, and you start to believe that it isn't. And it's such a well put together film. It's kind of that line that I wrote. I'm just going to read it again. The unawake misogyny with masculinity at its most grotesque, because it's not afraid to put things out there as it says it. It's like, it's not black and white, but there's a lot of depth to it. But it's giving you a very clear message without managing to ram it down your throat. It's very clever how it's done, and really enjoyable movie. I must admit, it's probably not going to be for everyone, but if you're into A24 and you're into other Alex Garland movies and you're into somewhat oddities, highly recommend this movie. And I'm pretty sure this will stay in the, it's not going to get sequels and all that sort of thing because of how the movie that it is. It's such an oddity. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling on now. That's the end of my review. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I really do recommend you guys check this out. Okay, thanks very much. Bye bye.